What's up everyone, it's me Matt38 and we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the WoW token. I know this is a topic which could raise a few hairs on people's back, but we're not talking about whether it's good or bad, but instead how it could potentially be detrimental to Blizzard's revenue streams. And if you were doing like a potential way to absolutely destroy any form of Blizzard gaining revenue, this would be the best way to do it possible if my theory is correct. And it's kind of scary as well. So before we start this video, we are going to talk about 92.1% of you watching my videos and not being subscribed. So if you're interested in this sort of stuff, talking about, WoW, unique topics, this is the best place to be. So I really appreciate a subscription. Anyways, onto the topic of how the WoW token could potentially collapse Blizzard as a company. And that's insanely scary, but it could possibly happen theoretically. So let's bring up the low possibility, but potential theory. This is the diagram I have drawn very well. As you can see, it's like a Picasso painting, very abstract. But no, so to start off, we got to understand how WoW tokens are created. WoW tokens are created solely by players paying for the WoW token. That generates a WoW token here. You cannot generate WoW tokens by buying them for gold. WoW tokens are also destroyed basically by people, by people buying subscriptions with WoW tokens, buying expansions with WoW tokens, and buying other things, spending gold in game with what they sell in the auction house. So can players crash the WoW token economy? Not really. Not really. Basically, the price will effectively relax if no one's really playing, and it will spike when demand is high. But this is a really interesting thing, and it's potentially a really dangerous thing as well, because in theory, if a company with a lot of capital, where £17 is absolutely minuscule, and World of Warcraft is Blizzard's main revenue driver. They've got the cash shop, they've got everything. And the way people pay for the cash shop is currently through their credit card or WoW tokens. So the cash shop, subscription, expansions, all of that is funded by players. But the WoW token can theoretically fund players because people can turn it into Blizzard Battle.net balance. So if a company with a lot of capital to spend, now this is entirely theoretical, I'm just saying it, bought up thousands and thousands of WoW tokens. We're talking not one, but like 100,000 WoW tokens. If you spent like 170 grand on WoW tokens and absolutely flooded the economy with WoW tokens, the price would basically capitulate. It would collapse. There would be so many WoW tokens in the economy that the way to, acquire them would become easier and easier. The gold significantly drops. People would be spending about 50 gold for a WoW token. And what the recursive effect when the price of the WoW token economy collapses, and why is that? The WoW token price moves downward when increased supply cannot clear at the current quoted price. When the auction house has loads of WoW tokens on it, the price is generally going to go downwards. So theoretically, if someone with massive capital came along and just bought loads of WoW tokens, you would fill the economy with so much WoW tokens that players would be able to stock their banks with, WoW tokens, where any Blizzard product which comes out, players would be able to get for free, which is crazy. It's an absolutely crazy thing to consider. I mean, will it ever happen? Probably not, but that's a really unique take. It completely strips any leverage. that a company has. Um, unless they've got hard caps and artificial caps. Um, but you know, something tells me the WoW token economy doesn't have those guardrails. But I thought that was a cool video. I thought that was an interesting thing to talk about. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.